Yes. Welcome to Come Well into another episode, another doorway entitled Am I as I am, as you are, just as you are. I'm your host, Amias Asium, and today's episode we're going to touch upon a topic. It's quite interesting, you ask me. Um, Today's topic will be titled Sexual Communication. So, what is sexual communication? Uh, what are these sexes communicating through? How are they communicating? Um, and this is going to take a little deep dive into that understanding of what it is that is actually that's actually happening, whether you realize or recognize it or not, between you and a potential other, to turn into that potential other into your possible significant other. So once again, of course, this is all relationship based. It's a companionship, partnership, uh, mate, and just to understand what else is going on besides you and her or you and him that's going on in that moment between that time and that space. Okay. Of course, the format as we go, uh, line for line, or as I call it, doorway after doorway. And this is the process that we take here on this channel. On this uh, visual cast or video cast. And I guess we pretty much take it from here and move forward from this point, or move inward, for better words. Okay, so the first line or first doorway is compliance, consideration, patience, enjoyment. Now, this is a thing based upon two people intermingling or mingling with each other. And this is the point where they have to be compliant to each other, but they also are also submitting and surrendering to each other. They're submitting and surrendering to each other, both male and female. And this is basically to support and maintain a neutral flow of a respectful dialogue and interaction. So it's basically you interact, interface, interlock. It's interact through mind, interface, interlock. So interact and interface is for the purpose to interlock sexual organs. So there's a level of degrees that this goes on, which is why it happens in this way, which is why you meet somebody, it's an acquaintance, or you meet them, you start talking, stimulation, things start to happen. And this interaction, interfacing, and interlocking is all for the succeeding and or success of the internal or the internal joining. So basically, it's external stimulation for internal activation. External stimulation for the sole purpose of internal activation. So that which is out is always trying to find its way within. Which is why you found your way inside of her, or she found a way for you to be inside of her. So the external is just there to succeed towards the internal. And if you look at that in the reverse opposites or the reverse effect, that which is internal also becomes external as well. This becomes what you call a embryo going through the 3 stages: embryogenesis, gamete, zygote, to become the fetus of the child, the baby. So that which is external seeks to be internal. Once it plants itself internal, that internalization seeks to become externalization, which is what you call a baby or an infant. See, so external seeks internal, internal seeks external. It's this constant going back and forth thing which occurs, which happens, this phenomenon that just happens in this third dimensional reality. Okay, so and it's basically for the 3 points to turn into the 6 points. The 3 points is the triangle. When I talk about the triangle upward, it's symbolic of the phallus or the penis. The triangle downward is symbolic of the vagina or the womb. So it's the interlocking of these triangles, these 3 points, and these 3 points to connect and create that 6 point, which is what you call sex. 3 points, 3 points, interlock becomes 6 points, which is the sex point, the point of sex. And this is just understanding sexual communication from a metaphysical and a occult understanding of what's actually happening besides what is unintentionally happening, besides what is intentionally happening between you and her or you and him. These are other things going on, trying to succeed itself to become that sexual success of itself. And it's trying to find its way inside to express itself and then have that form of expression come out of that inside, which is what we call the baby or the infant. So this sexual chemistry or the sexual communication is a communicating thing that's happening besides your verbal language. There's other things that are going on besides your verbal activity. Okay? Between you and another. Okay. So we'll take it to the next line. The next doorway is, it'll get more detailed as we go along. Next line in doorway is, it's to bring about a sex or person or the third individual or the third point to complete the triangle. And the triangle being the first shape into existence, which is what we know as the human body. To bring about the first shape into existence, not what you're seeing. You open your eyes, you see trees, but something that's bringing something about here. A shape, which is the first shape in existence, the human body. So sex or sexual communication is to bring about sex. It's to bring about a person or a being, a third individual, a third party, the third point to complete the triangle. You have 2 people, which are 2 corners or 2 points, and that 2 points is to complete that third point, which is the child, the infant, the baby. So that sexual communication between 2 individuals is that thing that's going on, is trying to create itself into that third point. Those 2 points are trying to create itself to that third point. So this is what you get: the mother, father, and child. The trifecta, the triune, the triangle, the triangle of angles, the angle, angel. So that's what sexual communication is based upon. Another point, another way of looking at it. It's trying to create a sex. It's trying to create a third gender or a gender. And it's trying to bring a third out of that 2. Where is that third? Because that third, that 1 point is the expression of the 2 points. Or that third point is a creation, an animation of the 2 points, interacting, interfacing, interlocking. So it's trying to succeed itself to that third point between these 2 points. Sexual communication is an energy. What we know as energy is an extreme. An extreme doesn't have a point where it's a dead end, where it says stop, where it's saying no more. It doesn't have that deciphering or domesticating uh, device or mechanism. It's just trying to go on and on and on and on and on, which is why some people who are married or not married, whatever it may be, have one kid and they have two, and they have three, and they have four, and they have five, 10, and they have 15. It's an extreme, it's an energy. We are the ones which put that chaos into an order, or put that extreme into a stop point, or a stopping point, or a ceasing point. Okay, so once again, it's sexual chemistry. Sex is to bring about a sex, a third party, a person. Okay, so the third point to complete the shape of the triangle, and the triangle being the first shape of existence, which is the human body, another body, and other body or embodiment, a reflection and a projection of you and him, or you and her. Okay, so the next line in the doorway is this is something for everybody to keep in mind, both male and female, both man and woman. Understand the qualities. You understand the qualities of him. You understand the qualities of her. And this is how we function as males and how women function as well. Because you're the complementary aspect of us. So if we function to the left and you function to the right, if we function to the up and you function to the down, it's just polarity. Okay? So next line in doorway is male is visual. Female is to envision, feel, and experience, blindly or darkly. A man remains in his mind where imagery resides. A woman remains in her body where animation resides. Man is universe, woman is earth. Reason why I said man is visual, because as a man, and you know, you men, we know, we have to like what we see. We have to be attracted to what we see. We have to desire what we see. We have to admire what we see. And ladies are saying, why? Well, when we desire and admire what it is that we are witnessing, her and her beauty, we become erect. Erection. Strong phallus. So a man is visual because we know that our vision and our desire and admiration for this woman keeps us strong for this woman and her womb. So a man has to be visual by nature. We have to keep looking and liking and being attracted to what we see. This is the natural chemistry. A woman can be like this, all in her mind, all in her feeling, all engulfed within the experience or the sexual experience happening within that moment. She can be just in bliss. A man has to be visual because he has to see and like what he's looking at to remain. You understand? Keeping the blood flow. And it's great when it's just a natural thing and it's wonderful. It's just like, it's a flow that happens naturally. If a man is turned on by his woman, then he's automatically going to be strong for her regardless. No matter what time of the day, when it happens, he's right all the time for her because that is what he likes. He likes what he sees. He's attracted every time he looks at her. How she's shaped, how she looks, how she feels. So a woman closes her eyes and envisions. and just feels and just experiences the moment at hand, the sexual moment at hand, when that sexual communication turns into sexual activity. And that's why man is visual by nature, and male is visual, and female is to envision, feel, and experience blindly or darkly. When I say darkly, because she can close her eyes and be in that moment. A man can close his eyes as well and be in that moment and just enjoy the feeling of the womb. At the same time, he's also looking because he likes to see her skin move. He likes to see the softness and feel the softness as well. He likes to see the shape. He likes to see her face expression. He likes to witness his work. We put in work. We work on that. We mold her. We sculpt her. We make her look and her be how we see fit, how we want her to be. We are, as men in that sexual activity, we are molders and sculptors and builders and constructors of that body. Why? Because we want to see that body in a certain way. So you use these things to mold her, to hold her, to grab her, mold her like clay. Isn't that what they say in the Bible? Clay. We're molded of clay. We can mold each other. A woman molds a man's mind. A man molds a woman's body. In one way, in one aspect of understanding what I'm talking about, because there's many different ways, but we have to see as men and as males. We have to enjoy what it is that we are looking at. This is why it's important when they say for a woman to keep herself up. No, look beautiful. Be precious. Be available when a man is ready. Be available when a man is ready. And this is where you get the whole submission, surrendering, vulnerability. This is where this falls in place. This is not based upon some man trying to control you. And males do that, not men. There's a difference between a male and men. Male and boy is based on the biology. A man is something different based in the mind. And respecting who it is that he is amongst. Respecting the opposite polarity and knowing that she is just a creation of his mind and vice versa. He is just a creation of her mind, her needs, wants, and desires. Which is why she tries to find her inside of him, because he actually exists within her. And which is why he's trying to get inside of her, because she actually exists within him. So we're all just creations of each other. You are just a creation of your significant other, and your significant other is just a creation of you, which is why you feel like you need one, desire her, because you feel like she is yours, because she is a creation of you, and your creation is yours. See, so this is it's a interesting way of understanding what is really happening besides what you thought was happening, what you think is happening. This is what's actually happening. Because you have the physical reality, which is what's going on, and the unphysical, or the visible and the invisible aspects of both things going on at the same time. But can you decipher? Can you stay in the middle and see what's going on? Can you witness what's going on and actually decipher and decode what's actually going on in the silence and privacy of your mind and your reality of the experience which you are presently having? Okay? So, let's go on. Oh, also said too was man is universe and woman is earth. The reason why I say woman is earth, which is a known. This is known. Why the earth? Well, because as a man, we plant our seed in you. And you can only plant a seed within a earth ground or an earth-bound reality. You are earth. We plant our seed within you. And you grow it and sprout it. This is why woman is earth and man is universe. Man is universe because he's always in his dark mind. He's always in darkness, which is why we While women sometimes come in a man's house or a man's room and they be like, it's so dark in here. Why don't you open up the shades or the curtains and open the windows? And man's like, all right, well, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, it's mad bright in here. Like, you ain't got to pull this. And she's like, oh, let the sun shine in. Because we're mostly in our mind, in our darkness. A man is of knowledge, a woman is of information. She needs to be informed, once again. Man is always wandering and pondering in his mind, knowledge, knowing of self, the gnosis, Gnosticism. Okay? Anyway, the next line in doorway is the word masculine. He's the line or lineage. A line is like the number 1, right? Line, masculine. He is the line. He is the lineage. He holds the lineage in him. That line is symbolic of what? The number 1. Feminine, the word feminine, feminine. 9. She is the 9, or the nun, N-O-N-E, the number 9. So, masculine, feminine, line, 9. Line is 1, 9 is 9. So together they are the numbers 1 and 9. The highest number. 1 is the highest number, and also 9 is the highest number. At the same time, 9 is known as the most high. 1 is after 0, which means that it is the first number and the only number. 9 is also the most high because it is something that is before it becomes doubled into 2 numbers, which is 10. So together they are 1 and 9, and the highest number individually and together. They are the highest number. 1 is the highest number individually by itself. 9 is the highest number individually by itself, and together they are the highest number, the most high. And if you look at it, 1 plus 9 equals 10. The number 10 is being a symbol of a stick and a hole, or the phallus in the womb. 1 and 0. Penis and the vagina. The phallus and the womb. The lingam and the yoni. So together they make that completion. And even if you break that down, the numerological value of the letter F is 6, because you have A, B, C, D, E, F, the 6th letter in the alphabet. And the numerological value of the letter M is 13. So once again, 6 plus 13 is 19. Split that 19 up, you have once again 1 and 9, which is once again male and female. So no matter how you look at this, it goes right back to where it protruded from, the source point of understanding from which it's based on. It's based within the 1 and the 9, the F and the M, the line and the 9, masculine and feminine, 1 and 9. So you can look at this any different way you want to look at it. It always falls back to that which is a fact of what it truly is and what it always was and always will be. Okay, the next line in doorway is, and this is based upon the woman, female. To submit and surrender, this is based upon relationship, is a woman's quality, not a man's quality. What do you mean by that? She is to receive, not deliver, primarily. To receive what's being delivered and turn it into a delivery. But she has to first receive the package of what's being delivered to turn that delivering into a delivery, which can be a child, which can be what she took in from the man, his knowledge, and what she spews back out to him or says back to him based upon what he has injected into her, according to what he's sharing with her. Okay. So submit and surrender physically and verbally, ladies, women. No physical or verbal abuse, which means know when to give your body and when to remain silent verbally and within your own mental dialogue. To submit and surrender is a woman's quality, not a man's quality. She is to receive, not deliver primarily. Primarily. The reason I say this is because simple. You have a womb. You have a black hole. A black hole is there to take in. And what you take in, you convert it, that inward thing, and have an outward expression of it, which is what you call a child or a baby or an infant, or mentally, some way. So your mind is based upon your womb. You think like the design of your womb. You're supposed to take in, whether it's spermatozoa, whether it's the man's penis, whether it's the lingam, the phallus, his knowledge, his gnosis, what he's sharing with you. And your power is to take that in first. Take in the delivery. Take in what's being delivered. What is being delivered to you. Remain patient. Remain silent. Because that is potential. And that silent potential turns into that possibility once you take it in humble and become humble with it. Not necessarily waiting to react to what he just did or what he just said. Respond. Don't react. You taking in that delivery, it starts to marinate. That serenade starts to marinate. And your power is to convert and transform that which was taken into you, which you received in balance, and to turn that into an expression. Take that internal receiving and turn that into an external expression. So your natural chemistry is to take in, is to receive, is to swallow that energy of that mind or the womb. So ladies and women, if you're not naturally taking in and submitting and surrendering, then according to nature's biology, not my advice or my opinion, you're not being within your true feminine state. Your womb says exactly how you are supposed to think. So if we don't know how you're supposed to think, both male and female, just look at your sexual organ. This will tell you exactly how and who you're supposed to be and what you truly are. Okay, so a woman is sensual in her senses. A man is sexual, and we're with an instinct. A man thinks about sex or sexing every 10 seconds or so. In some way, has a thought before he was with his wife, his lady, or somebody. This is our very true nature. And this is why his woman, has to keep him admiring and desiring her and keep that fire lit within him for her. Which is why wives and people, females or women who are a wife, tell these girls, keep your man desiring and admiring you. Keep yourself up. I don't care if you knew him for 5 days, 5 years, 10 years, 7 months, 1 year, 50 years, 30 years, whatever. Always look pretty, pleasing for him. That keeps him like this, wanting this. This is the whole point. It's very simple. It's not rocket science. Okay? Okay, anyway, the next line and or doorway is: a man is assertive and insertive. The lingam or the penis, the forward or pointer or director and giver of direction, which is why he leads the family. He's seeking an entrance or an entering of some sort. So a man is assertive and insertive by his very nature. Why? Because he has a lingam and a penis which is going this way. It's looking to enter something. It's a leading force, a forward energy. So this is how he thinks. This is how he is. This is how he operates, how he functions naturally. As women or ladies or the feminine nature, please know this and keep this in mind and in heart for your man or for your significant other, for your reflection, for your projection, for your creation. He is you. He's not out there somewhere in front of you or around you. He's in here. He's here. That's where he truly exists. Once again, like I always tell you, that's why your mate can throw you off, or you can go through turmoil and depression and stress, and he or she can affect something inside of you because that is where they truly are. If she or he truly existed on the outside of you, in front of you, and around you, then how can he or she affect what's going on inside you? Or inside you? Because this is where they truly exist and reside at, not out here somewhere. So taking care of him is taking care of your organs. Taking care of her is taking care of your organs. And this is how they can organize you in a certain way, and how you can organize them in a certain way. Because they are your organ. She is your organ. He is one of your organs, which is why he can make you sick or well. She can make you sick or well. So, the true path to well-being is being well within yourself, primarily, and secondarily, you being that wellness promotes that wellness for them to be well within themselves. And this is nice, harmonic flow. Everything remains in harmony between you and the other. Okay? All right. The next line in doorway is: being a lady and being feminine are two totally different things. Being a woman and being a wife are two totally different things. Well, what do you mean by this? Let's start with the first one. Being a lady and being feminine are two totally different things. Well, what does that mean? Being a lady is based upon behavior mostly. A lady crosses her legs when she has a dress on. She sits down. A lady sits like this. Be a lady. It's based upon more like charm school, or what you may call behavior and character. So being a lady is based upon behavior and character for the external reality to draw upon somebody. to you and towards you. It's a behavior that you take on in a character. And being feminine is something which is biological. It's your energy. You are supremely aligned with the divine synchronicity of all things that are feminine, your feminine quality. You are your biology. You are that quality. You're not behaving or trying to behave or act like a lady. Feminine is being aligned and in sync with your true biological nature. And you being aligned and in sync with your true biological nature automatically will be that behavior or that external character to draw in that other towards you. But being a lady is a behavior and a character which you play as on the outside. Feminine is inside. So you can be masculine on the inside and still act like a lady on the outside, which is why some men are fooled sometimes. Like, damn, she was acting this way. She was cool. She was, she was pretty and all this, but now I got this fucking nightmare I'm dealing with. And I don't know who she is, and because that was a role, that was a behavior, that was a character of a lady. But was she actually feminine on the inside? So as men, this is something to decipher and decode who it is that you are amongst. And the next thing I said is being a woman and being a wife are two totally different things. Once again, it's the same kind of thing. A wife is instinctual. A woman is based upon her senses. So these are roles as well. A wife is a role, Something which is feminine automatically falls into the potential of being a wife. Because that is a catering, a submitting and surrendering naturally. Not an act, it's natural. Be vulnerable, submit, surrender. This is a natural thing. It sounds ugly. They may have ugly pictures and ugly definitions and ways of looking at it. But it's just law. It just is what it is. It's just principle. A woman should naturally want to do that, feel that, be that, and think that, act like that naturally for the one that she cares about. Or the one that she is spending most of her time and experience with. It shouldn't be an act. It's not something which needs to be taught. It's something which is and displays itself as the very thing that it is. See? Woman is just based upon womanhood. It's just based upon growing up and having experience from, girl, young lady, woman. So it's based upon a hood, a womanhood, manhood, womanhood. It's just based upon a growing experience. But a wife is a role and a quality being taken on that is a structure of the foundation of being actually, truly, and genuinely feminine. See, so these are the differences between lady, feminine, woman, and wife, which is why I say these things are two totally different things. Okay? Okay, the next line in doorway is being a lady and a woman are just potential to become feminine and a wife, but not the possible or possibility. Being a lady and a woman, once again, like we just touched upon, are just potential to become feminine and a wife, but not the possible or the possibility. Just potential, not the possibility. So you have potential, you're acting like it, the behavior of the lady, the woman, you have grown into a womanhood, have gone through woman things, had a woman-like experience because you are a girl. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you are feminine and are ready to be a wife. Feminine is a nature and biology Wife is the mental chemistry which stems from the nature and biology of being feminine. It's a natural thing. You don't even have to think about it. You just naturally flow, you drift into that. If your mind and your emotions are too deeply involved and you're a little bit masculine, you will start to shift in the middle of that drifting. So you can just drift into what you truly are. But if you drift and you get too caught up emotionally, then you start to shift. But the whole thing is about just drifting, and just being your true nature, your true chemistry, your true biology. See, so, because lady and woman are personality, moral, and ego. To uphold an illusion, to care about self, to resist. Wife and feminine are more based in spirit and chaos. To just be, to not care, to flow with the energy within. So, lady and woman are like a mask and costume, uniform. Wife and feminine are the individual or the being wearing the mask, uniform, and costume. So it's something internal, wife and feminine. The lady and woman are external. Because you can act like a lady and you are naturally a woman. Because you've grown into that through experience and time. But are you actually feminine? Because if you truly are feminine, then you would have no problem becoming or being a wife. It's just natural. Wanting to have kids and things of that nature. Unless something is, wrong within you health-wise, and you have to, fix that before you can move on and become that motherhood and go from womanhood into motherhood. But it's not necessarily saying that every woman should want a child, should want to be a wife. And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that femininity to being a wife is just a natural flow of things if you are with a certain individual which you want to spend your life with or the rest of your time here in this body with. And you enjoy him. Genuinely and honestly enjoy him. Okay? Nothing that you have to question. If anything, you have more answers than questions. Okay, next line and or doorway is, this is for men. Blood flow, passion for, intent, and immediate access. For a male, this is for a male. And this is male information for a female significant other to keep in mind and keep in heart. Blood flow makes this happen. Passion for, he's passionate for her. He wants her, he likes her, he desires her, he admires her, he builds that fire for her. He has a passion for her. His intent is to get inside of her, to be with her, to have her. He's going forward towards her. And immediate access to get into that entrance which he is leading into, her mind and her womb, to capture her heart in the middle. Mind, womb, to capture the heart. So it's very important if a man has his blood flow for you, keep that blood flow going and have immediate access for him whenever his blood flow is correct. Because he actually genuinely likes you. He wants you. And you make yourself immediately available, which is why it's relevant for immediate access into you, miss. Okay, like I said, this is just information for the female, of the male, for the female to keep in mind and keep in heart within her, of him. Okay. Okay. So he not only is attracted to you, being attracted to you means that you flow his blood for him within him. You are flowing his blood. He is not just attracted to you. Another way of looking at it is I flow his blood. I create his blood flow. I am an influence of his blood flow. I inspire his blood to flow through his veins for me. So you don't have to call it attraction if you don't want to call it. Look at it or describe it, uh, perceive it from a different angle of truth that's actually happening within him. And you keep him strong. He wants to remain strong for you, which is why he may be working out and doing this and doing that, because you inspire him to keep him strong, to keep him strong. Just be available for immediate access for him. It's important. It's relevant. No, okay. The next line and or doorway is, this is describing the male. Insert, ejaculate, and eject. And this is a male component. Like you have wars, you have certain things that go on with certain countries and certain places, and you have Navy SEALs, Marines, whatever it may be, even people on the street trying to get in somebody, trying to invade to get to another side, to get to somebody to take them out. And this is based upon our phallus, our lingam, our penis. We insert, ejaculate, and eject, which is why we go in the womb and we come out the womb. A spy goes and invades, intrudes, invades, and then gets out of the situation before he's spotted by the enemy lines, by the opposing people, the opposing people. Once again, this is based upon the psychology of the male or man is based upon the psychology of the sexual organ. Insert, ejaculate, and eject. Invade, intrude, and escape. This is just a natural function, operation of how we as males operate and function. So we do it in human behavior as well as we do it in sexual behavior. This is not nothing to take offense at, ladies, women, feminine nature, but this is just how we truly are. And this goes on many different levels, many different examples I can explain this on. But let's go into the next line of doorway. The next line in doorway is, sexual communication is based upon the perfect fitting. The perfect fitting, mentally and physically. It's basically the spirit utilizing the device and function of the body to fit itself within itself. The itself being the female reflection and projection of itself. So it's looking to fit itself mentally through mental, verbal dialogue, and then find its way sexually. It's trying to fit itself in any way and every way possible to create that completion or that rounding of itself, that full circle of itself. So spirit uses this body. The soul, the spirit uses this body, or the soul gives spirit the availability to use this body to create that perfect circle to bring the body and the spirit back to the soul aspect and understanding of itself. See, so yeah, just want to use that example and make that clear. So when I said the spirit utilizes the device and function of the body to fit itself within itself, well, what is the itself? The itself being the female reflection and projection of itself. So it's using its own projection and reflection to get back into that projection and reflection, which is projected out and is a reflection of it, to get back within its own self. because she is just him and he is just her anyway to begin with. So it's just trying to bring itself back. And to bring itself back, it has to fit itself back into itself to become, once again, the completed puzzle. Okay? Okay. The next line in doorway is, he is the initiator, she is the initiate. He is assertiveness, she is compliance. She is the apple in his eye. When we hear this term or this metaphor, this saying, the apple in my eye. She's the apple in my eye. She is appeal and he is allure, or alluring. She is appealing, he is alluring. Once again, this falls back to lingam and yoni, phallus and womb. He initiates her by ejaculating inside of her. She is the initiate, awaiting the initiation. So he is the initiator, she is the initiate. And together they complete the initiation. He is assertive, she is compliant. Once again, compliant or compliance meaning submit, surrender, vulnerability. These three things, submission, surrender, and vulnerability, is an attraction to a man. It makes him want you because you are being open. And we are a thing which is moving forward, always constantly looking for that entrance or that entering. And if you show that you are open, it pulls him towards you naturally. It's even within your body structure, how your shoulders are, how you do, how you move, how you talk, everything pulls him to you. The more open you are, the more vulnerable you are, the more submitting you are, and the more you naturally and genuinely surrender to him, because you want him in you. You want him to open you. You want him to enter you. Okay. Next line in doorway is, in the example of sex compared to how the eyes function, it's a constant dilation or dilating. He is the focus or the focusing, the penis, meaning its ultimate pointing and point of erection. And she is the contraction or contracting, the opening of the womb. So the focusing is, an eye, the pupil, and it focuses, it gets smaller and smaller, meaning it's meeting a point. Something which is rounder is trying to meet a smaller and smaller point, which is symbolic. If you look at it sideways, it's something that's coming to a point. So it's a focusing. And dilation is when that focus turns into a bigger circle. So she's becoming the womb and he's the pupil. He's the pupil in a focusing point, and she is the womb in the dilating. So even your sex and your chemistry is based upon your very damn eyeball. If you know how the eye functions. Within the pupil and the iris and pupil, whatever you want. Your very nature and your very chemistry, if you just look at your eye, you will figure it out. He's focused on you. He's pointing towards you. And when you're in amazement, like, wow, the eye dilates. So be wow to him. And that wow turned upside down becomes mom. When you become a mom, you give birth. Okay? So he is the focus or the focusing. The penis meaning its point or ultimate pointing or point of erection, meaning its ultimate point of erection. And she is the womb. She is the dilating or the dilation, the opening of the circle. He's the point coming to the tip of the point of the circle. She is the opening of the circle, the dilation or the dilating of the eye and pupil. Okay? Your sexual chemistry of what and who you truly are shows itself through the very function and operations of your body if you just are aware of it and humble to it. Awareness is key, ultimately. The next line in doorway is, Sex, the minds meeting each other at the point of body. Well, why do I say that? Because sex is also known as conception or conceiving. Conception, sapiosexual, etc. This is why people meet and join at the mind before they join at the hip. Conception or conceiving doesn't mean anything with sexual organs or sexual play. It's actually mental. Look at the definition of conception or conceiving. It means something in the mind, mental, which is why people are attracted. She's attracted to his mind, to his knowledge, to his knowing of self, to his knowledge and knowing as self. She's attracted to him mentally. And that's what you call sapiosexual. She's connected to him and attracted to him sapiosexually before it becomes physically intimate. Before it becomes a physical play or a sexual play, physically. So, the minds meeting each other at the point of body. This is what sex really is. Sex is the minds meeting each other at the point and vehicle of body. So it's really just pointing back towards the mind once again. It always resorts back to the mind, which is why she remains on your mind and he remains on your mind, even after you two part, until you see each other again. So where do they actually exist on the outside, in that body? Or do they really truly exist and reside within your mind? And your mind being your heart, this is just the brain. The mind doesn't exist here. The mind exists here. This is where the mind is at. This is where the brain is at. Two different locations, two different functions. Which is why she has your heart. And he has your heart. Where the mind is at. Okay? So basically it's like he says, if I was to put this sexual understanding into a language, it's like he's saying, I'm going to put my mind in her when he puts his mind in her, in you. She says he can put his mind in me. So basically, his mind is within him, her mind is within her. So he uses her insides to see what's inside of him, which is once again you call what? A baby or an infant or a child. So he ejaculates into her, he puts his mind into her, and out comes a baby. So now he gets to use her insides to see what's inside of him. She's there as the incubation process, the incubation stages. To be an incubator, to cook. You get that saying, we have somebody pregnant. Are you pregnant? Is something in the oven? No. You got something baking in the oven over there? Yeah, it's actually baking. It's a cooking process. It's an alchemical process going on. It's a baking in the oven. It's going through a cooking process. And the oven is the word omen. Omen is the omentum. Omentum is that skin or that layer which covers where the fetus resides at before it's birthed or born. So, that's what he uses her insides for, to see what's inside of him, to actually interface and touch and come in contact with the baby or child, infant, to see, touch what it is which actually once resided within him. She cooks that for him. See? So, okay, the next line in doorway is, we only embrace and exist within a moment. Examples of that is, fight breaks out, you don't have time, you only have a moment. First date, you don't have time, you only have a moment. First impression, you don't have time, you only have that moment. A job interview, you don't have time, you only have that moment to impress or to make an impression. Which is why there's no such thing in reality realistically, there's no such thing as a relationship or time being spent with each other, because even this time you are expressing or experiencing with him, or she is experiencing, or you experiencing with her, you embrace them in that moment. Every time you are interacting or intimate with them, you are intimate in that moment. You are looking at her. You are looking at her in that moment. She is uh, admiring you or loving you. She is loving you in that moment. It's always a moment. So whenever you are interfacing, interacting, interlocking with each other, it is always based within a moment. So the whole key to having a relationship is to keep that moment in the function of a momentum, to turn that moment into momentum. And that's what you call a long-term relationship or a long marriage, or these people are together for years. And there's no such thing. They just know how to embrace each other genuinely within a moment when they are together and sharing that moment and experiencing that moment. They know how to fully embrace the value of that moment, which is what keeps them in that process, in that momentum, which is what you call time, long-term relationship, marriage, 50 years, 60 years, 30 years, 40 years. They are masters at keeping, embracing the moment. That's all that means. Especially if they truly are still into each other so much and really genuinely and honestly like each other. And years, what you call years, have then passed from that point forward. They just know how to embrace the moment which they share. That's all that means. So the key is to exist in moments, to embrace the moment. Okay, the next line of doorway is: a man holds pressure on his shoulders and back. A woman holds pressure on her waist and in her womb. Which is why a lot of women who may have taken on stress in certain ways, her womb will be a product or an example of the stress which she holds in her mind and in her heart and her biology. This would take on the pressure and the stress of what's being compressed within here, within her. This would be an example or a showing, an external showing of what's happening internally within her. She'll have problems or certain kind of things going wrong down here, below, from her smaller intestine and down. There'll be problems between her womb and the smaller intestine, which is what they call fibroids or certain things like that, because until you understand, which is why they call the stomach a second brain, until you understand that your mind as a woman is down here, like a man's mind is also based down here. This is the mind as well. This is connected to the mind. It's the same damn thing. So, a man holds pressure on his shoulders and back. A woman holds pressure on her waist and her womb. Now, a man may have shoulder problems, back problems, because he's holding too much pressure. Mentally, in many different ways. But this is where pressure locates itself at within the male and female. Okay, so men is something to keep in mind, and women is also something to keep in mind as well. If you're affecting your mind, you're affecting your womb. That's just what it is. It's a natural thing. Okay. The next line of doorway is the womb. To welcome in, to let in, to invite and ignite, to take up and convert that which was took in. Examples of this would be like the martial art Tai Chi. There's something called push hands, which you push hands, burning palm, etc. Birth examples. So the womb is a thing that is meant to welcome in. It is a thing that is operated to let in, to invite, and turn that invitation into a thing which ignites. So this is your natural function as a woman, based upon the very shape and operation of your womb. And you take in to convert. And while I'm talking about push hands or Tai Chi or push hands, it's something where people do push hands and we do push hands and we remain real sensitive. And we'll tell somebody to strike and we're touching hands like this. Everybody's touching hands like this. And that person's touching their hand on my wrist and mine's on their wrist. And we're pushing, and I'm saying, okay, now push pressure. And as he pushes, I can feel it. I can feel when he's about to push, and I can redirect it and push him. See, so being sensitive, being a womb, this is a womb art, a womb martial art. It's called push hands. You push in, I'm sensitive because if I'm hard, I can't feel when you're pushing hard. I have to remain sensitive and flowing. And when you start to push, I can feel. And when I feel you pushing in, then I can convert it and push it back out towards you. So being a womb is also a power. If you are in your true feminine state, your true feminine nature, your true femininity, you're there to take in and convert it into something else. You see, so that's your power. Your power is to be welcoming for the man, to let him in mentally, physically. Your whole body language, your whole body posture, your bone structure, everything about you is saying, I'm here, I'm open. Enter me. Enter me in communication. Enter me in conversation. Enter me sexually. I'm open to you. And a man is going to enter mentally, physically. So this is just, once again, what it is. It's basically, the push hands things is basically to feel. So as a woman, or a woman in her true feminine nature, is to feel and detect. Because you're feeling to detect. So I'm feeling to detect something rather than resist and reject something. Don't resist and reject. Feel and detect. So this is why you want to remain soft, sensitive, submit, surrender, vulnerable. To feel and detect in order to convert and transform. But once you convert and transform that feeling and that detection, then it becomes an outward expression. Rather than to resist and reject what it is which is pointing towards you or trying to enter you mentally and physically. Okay? The next line in doorway is penis language. A man says, let me do this. I'm going to give you. Do this. I'm going to give you this. This is penis language. This is the masculine nature. This is what they call the authoritative figure. Authority. We are authoritative by nature because we're saying do this. We're assertive. Assertion. Insertion. This is our true nature. We didn't create this. It's just how we are created as a man. Vagina language. This is why women say, I need more love from you. Give me, which is reception. Penis, assertion. Vagina, reception. She wants to receive more love, more attention. Give me from him. He's saying, do this. Let me do this. Take this. It's the nature. It's the nature. It's how it goes. It's how it is. How it always was and always will be. Okay, so it's just based on an example of void and fulfillment. It's an everlasting desire to give and an everlasting desire to receive and can never give enough or receive enough, which is why no matter how much he gives her, she still wants more. And vice versa. He can never have too much sex with her. He's always trying to dig deeper in her. or be in her and get in her. And she's always open to taking him in deeper within her. It's an everlasting void that seems like it's getting fulfilled and satisfied, but it's not because of the principle of desire. Desire will always leave that hole in that bag. Desire will always keep a bag with a hole at the bottom. And it may seem like you're deep in that hole, and it may seem like she's filling all of you, but she still wants more of you, and you still want more of her because of desire, void and fulfillment, fulfillment and void. It's this play that goes on. And this void and fulfillment is based upon, the structure of void and fulfillment is based upon the very foundation of desire. Constant desire for her or for him. Okay? The next line in doorway is, just upon this before, surrenderance, submission, and vulnerability is just another way of saying open to enter, or I am open to enter me. So once again, ladies, women, the feminine nature, surrenderance, submission, and vulnerability are just things, just ways of saying, hi, I am open to enter. I am open for you to enter me. When you are attracted to him, that man that you want to be with and have an experience with, or a lifetime experience with. This is the language going on. This is the language going on. So these are things, once again, it's nothing to take offensive. I'm not going to be vulnerable. I'm not surrendering or submitting to anybody. No, this is not based upon your attitude or behavior, once again, or character. This is something innate and insidious, deeply within you, that resides deep within you. The abyss, the Abyssian chemistry of what you truly are and as and of. Okay? It's nothing to fight with. It's nothing to become offensive at or take offense to. No. This is how you truly are. So if you're not functioning and operating in this alignment, then you are disaligned. You are not in sync with your true chemistry and your true nature of who and what you truly are. I didn't write it this way. This is just how this is, whether you know it or not. Okay? The next line in doorway is, man seeks the masculine understanding in woman, and a woman seeks the feminine understanding in man. Well, what does this mean? Well, what do you mean? I'm not trying to seek no man in her. I ain't trying to seek no woman in him. I'm straight. I'm heterosexual. That's not what it means. What it means is, when people are talking or in a possible debate, argument, or confrontation, she's looking for emotion within him, meaning a feminine quality. He's looking for understanding within her, which is a masculine quality. He's saying, damn, why don't you understand what the hell I'm saying? Like, I'm making sense. This is logical thinking. This is rational. Why is she acting like she doesn't understand what the hell I'm saying to her? So he's seeking her to understand what he's saying, which means that he's seeking a masculine nature or masculine quality within her. It's natural. She's saying, well, you just don't feel me. You don't understand. I'm going to tell you how I feel. I feel like you don't care. No. You're just heartless. You're cold. You're careless. You don't care. I need to tell you how I feel. And you need to feel where I'm coming from. She's seeking feeling within him, which is a feminine quality. So she's seeking her inside of him, and he's seeking him inside of her. Tell me if I'm wrong. All right, then. The next line in doorway is, woman talks from the throat, which is why she talks like this. Man talks from his belly or his bellow. And him talking from his belly, this vibrating sound from his belly or his bellow, like you got people like Barry White that have deep voice that turn women on for that very reason of his voice being from a deep location within his biology, which brings that attraction. He's speaking from here, so it makes a woman attracted from this point to make that joining just off of his voice alone. His belly or bellow is an attraction to her below. Bellow and below. He speaks from his bellow, attracting her below. That makes her want to fulfill her womb because that's the location from which he speaks from and vibrates from. Which is why when women can listen to Barry White, it does something to them down here. Because he's speaking from down here, so therefore she feels it down here. He's pulling her deeper. So this is another understanding of it as well. And this up and down location or top and bottom location vacillates back and forth. And as it vacillates back and forth, she speaks from here, he speaks from here. This meeting or joining of two people vacillates back and forth. As it vacillates back and forth, it's touching the heart, which completes the very wholeness of the heart, which is why he's attracted to her talking like this, and she's attracted to him talking like this, naturally. Like I talk like this naturally. This is not an act. So make sure that he's actually talking like that or sounding like that naturally. And make sure that she's actually sounding like that and talking like that naturally. That is not an act. This shows more genuinity in that interaction. Or it colors in. It brings more color to that interaction. It makes it more real, more genuine, more official, true value. So that goes back and forth, and that completes the middle heart, or the heart in the middle is secured through the vibration of her and the vibration of him completing the heart, which is why they may find themselves in that loving state with each other. Once again, I told you love is something that you are in by yourself. Being in love has nothing to do with another. You are in the love because the love is within you, not within her or within him. It is within you. You are being in love. Okay. So that, of course, the heart, when that's completed, it completes and makes the completion of the union between man and woman, which is what subconsciously draws them to each other. Okay. And it's pretty much what I want to touch upon for the day. So in between, confrontation or debates or arguments between you and him, keep certain things in mind. Stop letting your emotions and thoughts uncontrollably traject and interject in the middle of a harmonious dialogue between masculine and feminine quality. And let it play out or unfold as is, so that you can remain a witness to the natural flowing of communication within its own balance or balancing of self. So stop letting your emotions and your thoughts uncontrollably traject and interject in the middle of a harmonious dialogue between you and your man or you. Learn how to let the natures just be and communicate just as they are and always will. Your host, Amias Azium, as I am, as you are. Until next time, I'll keep you in vision until then. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, I'll keep you in vision. 1, zero.